Hey guys, I'm going to attempt to do a little video. I don't want to make a video where basically all I do is whine and complain. But I really do feel like I owe you guys an explanation. So I'm going to try to do that a little bit. I have been, well, suffering is a really good word because it's the word I've been using with a very bad ear infection off and on since maybe the 10th or so of October. It's November 28th right now. And it has been, well, it's been agony at times. And I have not played very much pool at all. This table actually got recovered about the 20th of October. And I bet I've played 3 hours total because I haven't been shooting, haven't been able to shoot. I also haven't been able to make a video and even be halfway coherent because I do get flashes of some very severe pain. Anyway, and that's not what I'm trying to do is complain and gripe. But like I said, I do feel like I owe you guys an explanation. I went ahead and I bit the bullet and I bought my entry for the Derby City Banks in January of 2026. Kind of just like last year, I had already decided I'm not going to play in the one pocket. There's too much waiting, too much potential drama. Just didn't seem worth it to me and didn't this year. Um, right now, even though I do have my entry purchase for the banks, I would, excuse me, there's about a 50% chance that I'm not even going to play in the banks because the way that this gets sometimes, no, I may as well stay home, and I would just stay home if I got up that morning and it was like it's been, you know, antibiotics are working somewhat, but they haven't been perfect. And I haven't been perfect. But what I was gonna get at was this table was recovered. So even though it's several weeks old now, it's still got like a little bit of a sheen on it because it hasn't been played on. I've been keeping the cover on it so the cats don't jump up on it. And so it's basically playing like brand new cloth. And so right now I'm trying to get used to the brand new cloth, plus get used to just picking up a pool cue and hitting a ball again. I'm trying to do both things at the same time. Well, sometimes it's been working here this evening, and sometimes it hasn't. This is this is actually my first test at trying to do three things, which is get used to the cloth, actually shoot a ball, and talk to the camera. I don't know if I'm coordinated enough to do three things ever. There are certain angles on brand new cloth where there's, in theory, not that much of a difference between brand new cloth and older cloth. About 45 degrees like this is about that angle. But there is still a difference. I'm just trying to figure it out. I think you might have seen I hit one ball short, one ball long. That might be because I suck. Um, but I don't feel like I hit the ball other than right where I wanted to hit it. So that kind of starts to tell me that, well, maybe there is something about the way the ball is bouncing off the cloth that seems weird to me. Perfectly understandable. I know that I've talked before about brand new cloth, and commentators will almost always say, new cloth banks go long. Well, sometimes they do. But on a shot like bank this 11, it's going to come short. If you're coming into a really steep angle, close to 90 degrees into this cushion, what's going to happen? Because this cloth is only, the 11 is going to slide off the rail much more than it would in a normal situation. And it's probably going to come short on brand new cloth. If I don't make any adjustments, it's going to do that. Easiest make in the world, right? But on brand new cloth, you have to make that adjustment if it's very, very close to 90 degrees. On a shot where it's more of a shallow thing, from this diamond to this diamond, going into that corner. This is a, I call this an extended cross corner, but basically it's not a shallow, or it's a shallow angle. It's not a tight angle like before. And on brand new cloth, this shot will tend to come shorter than it normally would. I'm kind of surprised that went in, because a shot like this will come shorter without an adjustment generally. Man, I screwed that up. So I've got that shot mastered, and that's nice to me. I'm going to keep shooting it until I miss. When I said the spot would come up shorter, I meant longer, but as it turns out, the phase of the moon and the humidity conditions and all that right now are putting the ball right in the hole. Very strange. I meant longer is what I meant. And I would have had to make an adjustment to make the ball. What I was expecting to happen was for this tin, and maybe go about there, maybe not quite as long, and have to make an adjustment. One of the things about this, new cloth, old cloth stuff is doesn't last. New cloth very quickly turns into old cloth when it shows some play. I go to Derby City every year, and a lot of those tables have brand new cloth on them. And the tournament starts Friday, and probably by Sunday morning, you can't tell it's brand new cloth anymore. It's playing like normal cloth, because the tables get so much play on Friday and Saturday. But that's what was supposed to happen the first time. It was supposed to just go a little bit long, and I would have to make an adjustment on a shot that's very close to, what am I going to say here? If I don't have to make much of an adjustment, I prefer to use a little bit of side spin on the cue ball. In this case, if I want this 10 ball to shorten up, I would put a little bit of right side spin on the cue ball. Some people prefer to cut the ball and use that to shorten it up. Really, it kind of just depends on where I want the cue ball to go. But if I have an almost straight in shot and all I have to do is put a little bit of side spin on it, I prefer to do that usually because I can control the cue ball a little bit better. If I decide I'm going to shorten the 10 up by cutting the 10 to my left, which would shorten it up, then the cue ball is going to go off in that direction, and that may not be what I want. So wow, I've got that shot mastered apparently. Let's try it in the other direction. When I say mastered, I'm trying to be funny there. Don't, Dave, you suck. You don't have anything mastered. Yeah, I know. I understand this. This looks like it's going to come a little bit short to me because I don't have the cue ball exactly on the line it needs to be on. I was right about that, but it may have just been luck that I was right, that ball came a little bit short. That's pretty close. This one should go in, or it could come a little bit short. That's none of this really matters. All I'm trying to do is kind of like I do all the time, is just give my inner pool player enough experience at shooting and stuff to where he can start doing all this stuff, and I don't have to be making balls. I'm just the guy carrying the stick around. Pretty much, you know what? That's what I'm trying to do anyway. As you can see, that 13 came straight off the rail, and then it started picking up roll and went pretty long. And I'm not that bad of a shooter at this kind of technical bang, but dodgy ball will slide off that rail on brand new cloth. And then that little bit of spin it picks up down there will take, and it'll break this way. You know, in a couple of months, if I were playing full time down here, that wouldn't happen anymore. It would come off that cushion, and if I hit it accurately, it would stay pretty much on the same line and go into the pocket. That's not the case right now, so I have to put just a touch of right side spin on the ball. You might have still been able to see that it slid probably to about right here, and then it broke a little bit. But in that case, because I have the right side spin, it didn't break as much. And this is just the kind of thing that, well, has to happen when you get new cloth. You have to be able to try to figure out what's going to happen. I mean, what I have to do is try to figure out how to make a ball and pay attention. Like I really do feel like I hit that ball pretty darn well if I hadn't just put new cloth on the table. I feel like the three went almost exactly on the line that I wanted in this direction. But it was what happened after it hit that cushion that threw me off. I can't cut this three as much. I can't cut it as much. I have to count on that break happening and opening the three up to get to go in. And I have to hit it accurately, which is a lot of times easier said than done. Now, it broke, it might not have broken enough. If you can see the difference between where that three went, both those two shots. The first time, my inner pool player's like, yep, you hit that really good, Dave, and I missed it by 85 feet. The second time, I had to make a conscious effort to miss the ball, but the new cloth effect allowed it to open up and go in. It's annoying that it has to be done, but it's just still interesting and kind of fun to keep trying to do it and figuring stuff out. Like this shot right here, basically from this point straight at the one on a regular cloth table, we'll bank it right here pretty regularly for me. When I say pretty regularly, this is like maybe a 60% bank for me on regular cloth. On brand new cloth, it's going to open up. And it's going to want to hit right here. So I have to make a conscious adjustment. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a little bit of adjustment by putting a little bit of right side spin on it. And you can see it still went that way. It still went a little bit long. I guess that's another thing. I don't remember what all I've talked about in these videos. I made a bunch of videos on brand new cloth. And the science guys can tell me I'm wrong, but the science guys are wrong in this case. On brand new cloth, I get more squirt than on older cloth. And I can explain that to myself pretty easily. I'm going to put it right in this on this cue ball. The cue ball wants to squirt to my left. Okay? What's stopping that cue ball from squirting to my left? The friction of the cue ball as it rubs against the cloth. Well, on brand new cloth, it doesn't have as much friction. It doesn't have as much resistance to that squirt. So I go to my grave I'm feeling like on brand new cloth, I'm going to get more squirt than I would on more worn in cloth or even more normal cloth. So I have to make a little conscious adjustment because my inner pool player doesn't know that. Or he doesn't, he knows it, but he's being a stubborn jerk. So I can't just line this up with a little bit of right. I have to line it up like I'm going to miss it, just like I did on that shot earlier, because I know this ball is going to squirt more because of that right than my inner pool player expects it to squirt. And I don't rub the rail, but it did go in. I mean, that's another thing about nice brand new cloth. It is pretty slick. You can miss a shot and it still goes in. A lot of these banks, I always thought it was kind of funny. I can have a shot like this three. I've already shot this, but I'm gonna try to hit the side cushion. And when I did hit the side cushion, but the ball still went in. Um, there are people, I've seen John Rimbuck in one of his videos. He's hitting the side cushion like up here, but coming in, and it's basically sliding all the way down the rail. Not even on brand new cloth. I always thought that was interesting. That if I shoot, let's use the one, not the three this time. If I shoot the one, and it's barely going to hit the side cushion. Well, anyway, and it went in. If you know, a lot of times bank pool players will do stuff like that kind of on purpose because they know that if they use the side cushion, it can make the the pocket bigger, make it, the pocket more likely to accept the ball. But if I have now let's shoot the 13 just straight into this pocket, and the only way it can be made is if I go off the side rail. Well, hey, I missed, but that's not what I was going to say. What I was going to say was a lot of times people will make a bank shot and it'll slide out, you know, or whatever. It'll slide off the rail. It looks like a little bit unnaturally, and people go, "Oh, good shot," you know. But if you have just a regular shot, well, I don't even need the ball. Let's say I want to shoot this 13 straight down there, and I'm going to hit the side rail. Sometimes that ball will go in. I'm a little bit surprised it didn't go in right there. But then all of a sudden I got lucky because it didn't go in, you know, super 100% cleanly. I got lucky. But then if it was a bank shot that came in at that exact same angle and did the exact same, hit the side rail and went in, people might go, "Oh, good shot, good shot." I just always thought that was interesting that hitting the rails on the way in is seen as kind of a good thing in some cases, but a really bad thing in some other cases. Let's take a little stupid shot like that. I know I'm rambling, guys, but I haven't made a video for a while and I haven't shot pool for a while. That ball came short. I feel like this is a pretty easy bang for me. I don't feel like it would have came short had I been playing and not had my table recently recovered. But it did come in this rail at a pretty steep angle, which is going to make it bounce off that rail, slide, and come short. Plus, remember I talked about the squirt. Add a little bit of right side spin on the cue ball, which squirted the cue ball to my left. And I didn't make that adjustment. If I know I'm going to put a little bit of right side spin on this ball and it's brand new cloth, I have to make that little adjustment. And I felt like I did that time, but apparently I didn't make enough of an adjustment. I have to make a little bit more. You got make it look like I'm going to miss it. It's going to do it again. So apparently that shot can't be made by me tonight. So we'll try a different ball. I don't like having to basically miss a shot on purpose to get it to go in. But I do know this is just a temporary thing, and eventually the cough will start acting more normal, and my inner pool player will get more used to what's going on. All right, he's had 5 weeks off from playing pool too, so I felt like I was going to miss that ball and hit about right here, but it skimmed this point on the way in. Now that's how far off it is, and I'm just getting more squirt right now. If that's the main thing that's going on, if that's what was supposed to happen the first time around, it doesn't mean all of a sudden the cloth just started playing normal. It just means that I sucked at that shot on that particular case. It's hard to miss on purpose. Now, if you're really, really sharp-eyed, you might have noticed that this is my Southwest. Um, I have not decided what I'm going to do as far as what cue I'm going to shoot. I switched from my Southwest to my Shrugs cue back in April because my Shrugs was like the most natural cue for me. I did a little competition. And yeah, and I've shot well with the Shrugs, but it does not take an extension. And that has always bothered me that it does not take an extension. Plus, even though my Shrugs cue certainly has a lot of street cred, this is the Southwest. Did I mention that? And for me, that's always, I don't know, it's been more street cred than it kind of deserves, I think. I'm not saying it doesn't deserve any. I'm just saying I've always put Southwest cues on such a pedestal that now I've let my ego get involved. When I took several weeks off from playing again, I said, well, as long as I'm going to suck, I'd rather suck with the Southwest than with the Shrugs. Just stupid stuff, but I am human. I'm allowed to do stupid stuff every now and then. I don't think I take too much advantage of that and do way more stupid stuff than I should, but let's keep shooting this kind of shot. I think I can see the cue ball spinning just like absolutely crazy. That's because of the brand new cloth. There's just not as much friction. And that's why you get more squirt as well. It'll spin forever and you don't get more squirt. Or you can adjust too much. Still got a lot of spin though. Guys, I'm going to stop this video. I need to sit down a bit and try to get this published before everybody, assumes I'm dead and moves on to something else. But a dead bug or something. I don't know how that happened. I don't know. That's all I got. Just an update. My Scone Cup's starting here in a few days, I guess. So maybe I'll do some more, nightly recaps or something of that, and probably just be sitting with the bar when I talk about that kind of stuff. If I do, there have been times these last few weeks where I haven't done anything except stay in bed for basically 24 hours, and hopefully that won't happen again. And if it does, sorry.